written about storm chasing?
Yes.
It was a William Gibson novel, wasn't
Nope, it was one of his friends, Bruce Sterling.
Bruce Sterling, that's
Yes.
right. Fascinating.
Oh,
Great
amazing stuff.
You can get your picture on the fridge, send it to the screensavers at ZDTV.com, make fridge picture the subject line. Did you do the same thing as that? Fridge picture.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just funny when two people do the same thing.
Come on, let's do it again.
Fridge picture. It just makes you laugh, doesn't it?
James,
Come on.
James joins us on the phone from Cuckoo, no, Houghton, Michigan.
On the net cam.
On the net cam?
Hey, James, how are you? Is it Houghton?
Is it silent? James?
James! Oh, you got to hold the phone up to your ear. Put the phone to your ear. He's holding it up like this.
Yeah.
His phone is not, call him back, okay?
I think the phone
I think he's
died.
sending us a signal.
The phone is
The
dead.
phone is dead. That's the universal signal. Phone dead. We're going to take a break, see if we can get James' phones working, and then we're going to get a little physical. Let's get physical. I'm not talking about of our all-time favorite books, movies, titles, software, titles, bookmarks, you know, whatever.
State.
If we're into
River
it,
name pronunciation.
whatever.
Yeah.
This week, loved it. This is a book, okay, a book that I haven't read, but I love anyway. I read it in bits and pieces. Seriously, I've read it, but you can't.
Folks, we want you all to read it.
No, you don't have to read it either. It's just for on your bookshelf because it looks so cool.
Especially at parties when people are coming
All right,
over.
this is the great physicist James. What's his name? Richard Feynman.
We were arguing over whether or not it was James Gleek.
That's
Gleik,
another
or
guy.
Gleck.
He wrote the biography of Feynman, which is called Genius, which I also recommend. These three books are the Feynman Lectures on Physics. Feynman, of course, a great theoretical physicist. He won the Nobel Prize in the early 60s for his work on quantum electrodynamics. There's more. Hold on a second.
Hey,
And this is the one. This is the easy one.
Yeah, that's the one you can listen to.
This is the one I listened to in the car. Didn't work.
It was the spirit of the thing, Leo.
It worked.
I think we broke it.
This is Feynman was a physicist, won the Nobel Prize in the 60s, as I said, for quantum electrodynamics. He also, you may remember him in 1986 when the Challenger investigation was going on. Remember the shuttle that exploded? He was the guy who discovered it was that the O-rings at low temperature stopped
that
sealing.
was like his last. He was like, okay, I'm going to find.
He was dying of cancer at the time, and he solved that. But he probably is best known as one of the great teachers of physics of all time. A professor at Caltech. These lectures were given in '62 and '61 to Caltech freshmen and sophomores. It was considered
very lucky.
Very lucky. They only gave these lecture series once. Considered an introduction to physics. Now the reason, I'm just going to show you why I say I haven't read this. I've read it, but you can't say you've read a book that has all of this. The math is way beyond me. It's too white to see, probably, but the math is just way beyond
Now the
me.
total force and all the part. Oh, come
You
on.
understand this stuff? You probably do, Patrick, because you're so smart. But
Yeah,
to me,
right.
I just skim the math part.
Has you ever seen me talk about like algebra, much less calculus?
This is another. This is maybe
the
the
good
one. They took these lectures and they took the first 6 of them, which were an introduction to physics. You can buy it. It's called 6 Easy Pieces, and this is actually the book on tape. You can see it's got my business card glued to the front, so I can't, because I lent this out to somebody and I can't get it out now. But this is the best introduction to physics. If you read Hawking's Brief History of Time and you're ready for more.
That was a long, slow, vicious
Well,
read.
if you that's right. If you understood it and you're ready for more, this is the place to go. Here's the one that Tom Merritt had. This is Feynman's Lost Lecture on the Motion of Planets Around the Sun, in which he proves, using not calculus, but geometry.
Common everyday geometry.
Yes. It's fun. You would like this because you're a sailor. You would get all this trigonometry.
He's with Bertrand Russell. He's like, it's just
wonderful
brilliant.
stuff. Famous for playing the bongos at Los Alamos during the Manhattan Project, which he also worked on.
Lightening up that whole nuclear weapon construction thing.
What's great about listening to him on tape, and I do recommend you listen to the lectures as well as read them, is he has this great New York accent, and he's funny. He's got a great sense of humor and a great joy in the subject matter. This is the greatest teacher you ever had, explaining the toughest stuff you ever wrapped your mind around. And you know what? Even if you don't understand it, I don't pretend to, you're going to love it. There's a great book, and that's what we were talking about. The biography of Feynman is called Genius by James Gleck. Highly recommended as well. Or Feynman's own books, including Surely You Jest, Mr. Feynman.
I'm not going to touch the clothes.
To fill out your geek library, check out our website for a complete listing of all of our recommendations. It's at thescreensavers.com. Coming up next, web usability expert Jacob Nielsen shows us why your website may not be as user-friendly as you think when the Screensavers
Listen to the man.
continues.
to a very special guest. Leo?
Thank you, Patrick. I am indeed. The key to success in any medium, whether it's TV, radio, or the web, know your audience, know what they want, know how to give it to them. The problem with the web is you better know what your audience is looking for, because if you don't, they can click their way out of your site in less than a second. Here to get us into the mindset of the average web user is Jacob Nielsen. He's the author of Designing Web Usability and the king, really, the reigning king of web usability. Jacob, welcome back to the Screensavers. We had a great time the last time you were here. You showed us all the things one should never do on a website.
Exactly.
But usability is a great topic to focus on, too. First of all, what do you mean when you say usability?
Oh, just making it easy, such that a user comes to the website and they can actually find something. That's really it.
They can get the job done. They can get what they came for.
Do what they want. And you know, if they can't, they leave. There's no such thing as read the manual for a website.
Right.
Take a training class for the website.
Right.
No. Do it or leave.
We've had, 20 years of software design experience, 100 years of newspaper book design. Can we learn anything from those media?
We can learn a lot from software design, even though I think most software companies never actually did a good enough job on it. But from newspaper design, it's so different in the web because it's interactive. In a newspaper, all you do is flip the page. Just keep turning the page.
And yet, ironically,
anybody can do that.
I think most websites look more like newspapers than they do like software.
That's right, but that's because they take after magazine metaphors. They don't really understand that it's an interactive medium. I mean, people are there to click and get something done.
Right. So how do you test this? I mean, how do you determine what makes a usable website?
We test it very simply. Get some real users, representative of your customer base. So that varies by website. Some real users in the lab or even just in regular office. Sit them in front of the computer. Use the website. What can they do? Where do they fail? Fix it where they fail. That's it, basically.
So you have to have a one-way mirror and a camera setup and all that stuff?
You can, and sometimes we do use the fancy labs. Yeah, it's nice to have, but you don't have it. You don't have to have it. The one thing you have to have, hot bodies. Real people.
People, the kind of people who go to your site.
It does.
Different people have different expectations.
Oh, you cannot take the guy from the office next door, somebody else from your design team. That doesn't work.
Well, yeah, I think most web designers, that's how they work. They say, well, I understand this perfectly.
Yeah, I understand it, because of course you built it, so that's not really a good answer.
You know what's there.
Exactly. So if you see a web page and you know what's behind it, you know what all the words mean, of course you know where to click, but the average user coming from the outside, they don't.
The thing that's great about your book, and this has been true of your other books too, is full of examples, actual websites where you talk about what works and what doesn't work.
Right, exactly.
Good and bad, and that's really great. Let's do some examples right here. This is myautogarage.com.
Right, this is just one website, but what does this website actually do? They don't even really tell you. I guess the name might tell you a little bit, but it's free. Well, that's not enough anymore.
They start with it's free. That's not,
But what does it do? What's in it for me? Because there are millions of free websites. So being free, scratch and sniff. You got to scratch the website, run your mouse over
you call this,
things.
when you have these rollovers, you call this scratch and sniff.
Scratch and sniff.
You don't really find out anything until you actually interact with the page.
You've got to go and scratch it.
Would you say every page should, at the very beginning, say, this is what we do?
Yeah. It's very simple, but tell people what's
What are you here for?
Don't have them go and hunt and peck and have to roll their mouse over everything to get the explanation. So this is like pseudo interaction. These guys thought. Actually,
they thought, hey, it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. Wow, it moves when I move the mouse. But it's like, well, get me the information. I can read it. And now another thing that's bad about this site, and we're probably not going to have time to go into this, but if you click, all you can do is put up a registration screen. Bang! Give me all your private, confidential information.
Before you can get in.
Before you can get in. Before you get any idea about this site is any good.
I got another example for you. I just heard Claudia Schiffer is doing a Palm 5, right?
Oh, cool.
So I went to ClaudiaSchiffer.com, and this is all you get on the site, is this. Sign up. There is nothing.
Oh. Yeah, and
nothing.
And people really do not want to give out their
email. I'm not giving you that.
Because they're going to get spam forever.
Well, and the worst thing is I put a fake email address. Watch, I'll do it again. I'll put, usually I give the webmaster of the site's address, but I'll say spam@nowhere.com. Then what do they want? They want more. Then they ask you for Your address!
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you, this is why there's so many people living in Albania.
They always start in Albania. Why is that? Shouldn't that start at the United States since 99? I have to scroll all the way through 300 countries
They are so annoying.
before I get to the United States. Way at the bottom.
Yeah, actually, the better sites will put them like the two or three
Most common.
biggest countries on
Right.
top. Yeah.
By the way, after you fill this all out, there is no site there. All you do is fill out a
So
form.
it's all in vain.
It's all in vain.
But
This is the most interactive part. As you click these pictures, I get more pictures of Claudia that say "coming soon."
Coming soon,
Do
yeah.
you like? We see a lot of those under construction.
Coming soon. Forget about it because either you're there or you're not there. Don't waste people's time with what's not
This
there.
is not helpful, Claudia. Claudia, Jacob Nielsen says you're bad. You deserve. Show me another
At
site.
least the photos are nice, but I mean.
Yeah, pretty photos of Claudia.
Well, I mean, so here's IBM. So that's a very respectable company with nice computers and all. But let's say you want to try to buy
This
one of
is
their
the
computers.
most cluttered page I've ever seen.
It's
in my
very
life.
cluttered, and there's some things that are good about it. So they say the price. So this is like $2,800. This is like more expensive. So you can kind of tell which one you should look at. But
I'm gonna make the text a little smaller so we can get more on the screen.
yeah,
anyway.
this is more realistic probably. But so you
Right.
can kind of see which of the expensive machines. Well, there's a cheap one coming up down
Right.
there. So you can kind of tell that. But then they go and say, this is the all-in-one value desktop alternative. This is like no information whatsoever. I mean, or this is the mini with
Jacob,
full.
do people hate it when you come in the door? They go,
They
oh, no,
do.
he's here. He's gonna tear apart our site.
Oh, they do. They got to
The
take
last
it
time
loose.
you were here, you didn't want to say bad things about sites. You've changed your mind a little bit.
Oh, I am so ruthless in these sites now. And actually, funny enough, the harder I am on them, the more they pay me. Actually, so
That's right. They do something here that I think is really bizarre and harkens back to what we were talking about, the wrong metaphor. They've got footnotes.
Yeah, the footnote
here.
is odd.
What is that about?
The little
click
weird
a 2.
2, yeah.
What is that? I mean, I have to click a 2 and then I'm going to get more.
Oh, you
there's
don't even get it.
footnotes.
This is very weird. Yeah, you're right.
How about broken links, bad? We see that a lot nowadays.
Broken links are bad, but at least there's a way of kind of controlling for that because you can put a spider on the site to check all the links and see
Right.
if they work or
Use the
not.
technology to help
Use
you.
the technology
keep you from
available.
doing-
But if we can scroll up to the top of the site, I'll tell you the one more thing I really think is bad here. If we have time for one more thing.
Yeah, sure.
Go to the top of the page. Okay, here's your advisor. Now, this is actually a nice feature. They'll kind of help you understand their product line. But who is ever going to believe that IBM is going to be an impartial advisor on which of their machines to buy?
Well, he looks like
This
a nice enough guy.
Yeah, sure enough.
I trust him.
And users are going to say, no, you're just getting all this marketing information from me so you can kind of get me in some way.
It's interesting, and I have this fight even with our own web designers. There is a culture on the web where they collect information about you.
Yes.
And I think web people a lot say, oh, but that's normal. Everybody's used to it.
Right.
But users don't like that, do
Users
they?
really don't like it. And see, I don't actually know whether IBM is honest or deceptive. Probably they're
don't
probably
care,
honest because they're kind of a
though.
nice company. But the problem is you don't know. That's the problem.
That's right.
You don't know
So I'm not gonna give
what's
them.
going to happen. Exactly. So people have a great amount of distrust and cynicism these days in the web.
Right.
So the website has to project honesty, cannot do these things like the Claudia side or
Right.
even the IBM side of collecting all this user information.
But now, there is a legitimate need. IBM is in business to make money.
Oh, for
They
sure.
want this information. Is there a way to collect this without offending the user?
Well, if you can convince people that it's to their own benefit, that they're actually
Give them
getting
something for it.
something out of, then you can do it.
Okay.
But just say, type in all your private information, and maybe we'll give you something, or maybe we'll give you good advice. And no, maybe they are giving me good advice, but the problem is I don't know.
I'm going to be very fair to these big companies that we've just raked over the coals and go to our ZDTV site, and you could tell us just a couple of things what's wrong with this site.
Well, so far we're just waiting for, I guess now it did download, but
it's a slow download.
it takes
it
too
is.
long to download.
Yeah. How about banner ads? What do you think about banner ads?
You know, you can forget about them. People never click the banner ads.
They're hitting me in the sales department
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
no, I'll tell you, but the click-through rate is going to go down, down, down,
But
down.
last time you were here, you told me something, and I think people got to know this. You said the dirty little secret of advertising is no ads work. Nobody watches TV ads either,
That's
right?
true as well, but on the web you can measure it, and the measurements are every year half the number of click-throughs as we had last year.
So how are we going to solve this? Because this is how we're paying for the internet. This is how we pay for ZDTV.com.
Oh, I know.
We
This
got to
is-
make this work, Jacob. You got to help me here.
Well, right now, actually the one thing that works is, oddly enough, is like text-only ads, because they're so different from all these stupid blinking, GIF
So
ads.
go the other way.
Yeah, go the other way. So you can do something that's a little bit different, a little bit more precise with actual information in it. That works a little bit. In the long term, though, we've got to come up with a completely different model.
I think you're right. Folks, if you do a website, even if you don't do a website, and you just want to know about good design, usability, this stuff is so great to think about. Read the book. Jacob Nielsen is the author of Designing Web Usability. Check out his website at, it says www.useit.com. Is that it?
That's it. Use it.
I love that name. And now, see, Jacob, everybody's going to criticize you, and except there's nothing to criticize. Look at that beautiful layout.
Oh, yeah, it's so simple.
Clean.
It's very, very fast,
It gets
too.
the job done, and it's fast.
Exactly.
Don't forget to read Jacob's article, too. It's on our website. Just, if you can bear with our website, thescreensavers.com. It's great to have you. It's okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it. What a wonderful book. Folks, stay where you are. Still to come on this very show, we're gonna do an internet radio thing. We're gonna be on the radio when Martin gets through with us. Then,
Look, if you need web servers with serious bandwidth, and especially if you need web servers fast, you need to call Rackspace right now. You'll be on the web, same day, instantly expandable, one server or 20. Check them out. Call 1-800-961-2888 or go to Rackspace.com for the whole story. Rackspace, it's how you get web servers now.
Fresh Gear, consumer advice for the latest trends, the hottest gear.
I watch ZDTV all the time. I watch Fresh Gear. I always check out my products on there. I love the show. I watch it. I think the information is good. Plus, they have fun, and they try the stuff. And you don't pander to the products. We really appreciate that. Survey says ZDTV. Amaze yourself.
Fresh Gear, weekends at 12:30, 11:30 Central on ZDTV.
welcome back to the Screensavers. I'm Leo Laporte.
And I'm Patrick Norton, and we both had the fish, and this plane, ladies and gentlemen, is going down.
Normally, Patrick and I have different dinners, so in case one of them is poisoned, the other can continue with the show.
Yeah.
Fred, you're going to be doing the show if the fish is poisoned.
Have they met Fred yet?
They haven't met Fred.
Let's meet
Meet Fred, ladies and gentlemen.
Fred, our floor director. Fred, who's like,
Patrick gave me some of his dinner.
Oh, no!
Prager.
He ate the fish, too!
Prager, are you ready? Roger?
Today in the chat room.
You ready?
Should
Wait.
we have eaten the fish? No. The chat room topic.
Oh, my God. We've lost another floor
Should
director.
the government mandate
Steve's going to be ticked off.
filtering software? They never let you do that at KTVU, did they?
Yeah.
The federal government has announced that it's going to require any school or library that takes federal funding to put filtering software on their internet access to keep little children, the little children, from seeing.
Yeah, it's the little children. Okay, parents, we know you don't watch your kids. We know you don't watch their browsing. We know you
know how
don't
you fix
care.
this?
You fix that by restricting First Amendment rights for the rest of the community.
You know how you
I don't
fix
buy
this?
it, Leo.
You know how you fix this?
You take the internet
If you make
connections
the
out.
filtering software block the NRA, I bet you they'd take it off.
Ooh. I like it.
You go to this. You go to the
Can we get
web
Charles
page.
Heston online, please?
He's my president. You go to the web page and vote thescreensavers.com. Let us know what you think.
In the meantime?
Mike from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Patrick and Leo.
How you doing?
How's it going,
Really
Mike?
great, really great.
What's outside there and through those beautiful French doors?
Rain.
Rain? Is it pouring?
It's pouring all evening.
Oh, well, that's a good night to stay inside and compute.
Absolutely.
Watch the Screensavers. What can we do for you?
I recently purchased Norton Systems Work 2000, the professional edition.
Uh-oh.
And well, no, it's actually it's worked really well.
Yeah.
And there's a part of it that you speak of frequently, which is the Ghost program.
Yes.
Upon opening the box and going through the user's guide, they seem to have left the ghost portion out of the user's guide entirely.
But it is, the program's there, you just don't have any
Yes.
documentation?
Right, on how to use it. And I guess what...
Ow.
But my question is, I have one hard drive, a 20-gig hard drive on my
Right.
computer, and what I want to be able to do is have which I hear you speak of, is a clean install, and then ghost it, and
Yes.
then if my operating system becomes corrupted, I can ghost everything right back onto my main partition or whatever.
Right.
And I guess part B of the question would be, is it capable of creating partitions also?
No, you have to have already done the partitions, and you cannot ghost a partition onto itself for obvious reasons. You're
Right.
changing the partition as you're running
Right.
Ghost.
All right.
And you would be ghosting the ghost of the ghost of the ghost of the ghost. You could see the
So do you
problem.
need two separate hard drives to use the program?
Or
Yeah.
a second partition. You could take a 20 gig and make two 10
Yeah.
partitions out of it and put the images of one on the other.
Yeah, the easiest way, if you haven't done it before, the easiest way to ghost is to literally go find the cheapest hard drive you can, like a 5 or 6 gigabyte
That would
drive,
probably be the best
and
thing
drop
to
it
do.
in there. That's like the easiest way to do it.
Or a Jazz.
Or a Jazz drive. Basically anything that's got at least a gigabyte or two of storage. Most of the times your system, up to about 4 or 5 gigabytes, will actually come packed down fairly easily.
I have one of those side quests, the older drives, the Spark Q1.
How big?
It's a 1 gigabyte.
That should work.
That should work. Yeah,
It certainly would work on a clean install on Windows. A clean install on Windows would install down to, compress down to about 200 megabytes
Right.
worth of image, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that should work. Here's Ghost right here. What we're talking about, for those of you who've never used this, we love this program. This is called a disk imaging program. So what I can do is I could take a partition and I could save it to an image. What this will do is actually, here's my two hard drives. I'm going to take one of the partitions on this hard drive, the FAT32 partition, which is our Windows, and I'm going to save it onto the D drive. So I actually have a number of hard drive images here, and I'm just going to save this. I'll just say a test image. What it does is it does a bit-by-bit copy of the hard drive. I have choice between compressing it high and fast. I've found that fast is just about as good as high, so I always use fast and press yes. And literally within a few minutes I'll have, much faster than copying the individual files, this will show the progress here,
Right.
I'll have a single file that contains everything that's on that hard drive. And I can restore that partition by going in the opposite direction. Very, very handy.
Yes, it's especially in any kind of lab environment. Certainly here on the set, the FreshCare computers, pretty much everybody uses it because it makes it like literally it turns what used to be a 3-hour proposition of rebuilding the system into a 15-minute one-click solution.
If you've ever reinstalled Windows, if you've ever lost a hard drive and wanted to get back online quickly, Ghost is a great solution. I use it at home, not just in the lab. I use it at home.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
It helps
you
a
don't-
lot out also if you have kids using the computer.
Yes. Well, or if you're like
Yeah.
me, I install a lot of software that messes up the computer. I have an image of what I would recommend, a basic install with just Windows and the drivers that you would use, and then a full install with the main applications that you use all the time.
I have two sons that like to download a lot of
Perfect
Yeah,
thing.
and then you
perfect
can
way
turn
to
around.
use for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
basically, like you can do a clean image, do an image with your stuff on it, and then basically, if they, well, can I say foobar on air? The system. If they kill the system, you can turn around and restore it. One thing,
Right.
you will need partitioning software to repartition that drive, or you're going to need
Or
a second drive. The other thing is the nice thing. You said you're completely missing the manual.
No, I have the user's guide, but
It's just skinny.
They omitted the Ghost portion out of the user's guide.
I would call up and howl at Symantec because Ghost is essentially a DOS program, and like most DOS programs, there's a ton of switches you can use on it.
You do
to
want to know
stuff
those
like,
switches, you're
to
right.
span across disk, to
Right.
control the
Right.
amount of compression, to control where it goes, to automate it. Definitely check that one out. I would whine at them very loudly to get that in.
Yeah, there's probably a README or an online documentation you could print too.
Good stuff.
All righty. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Mike. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
We got a job for you.
We're going to put him to work.
Yeah, Leo's heading off to
Absolutely.
chat. But
Thanks.
first, Mike, will you take us to break?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Thanks, Patrick and Leo. Jim Lauterbach shows off the new FireWire devices for Mac when the screensavers continue.
Bravo! Don't you want to just step through those doors?
What do you think about Campaign 2000? Let your voice be heard. Send a V-mail today to zdtv.com/netcamp. And now, here's the UPS Merchant of the Week.
Planime was the first fully dedicated Japanese animation store in the U.S. Our online store, plananime.com, carries the largest selection of Japanese animation goods. Sign up for our newsletter at plananime.com for your chance to win hundreds of dollars worth of prizes every week and a DVD player every month.
Log on to ZDTV.com and register your e-business today.
Now entering the all-new ZDTV store. First floor, shirts, cotton tees, twill, and fleece. Second floor, hats, many styles. One size fits all. Third floor, coffee mugs, Old French roast with the most. Plus much, much more. Visit zdtv.com/store to order or call toll-free 1-800-288-0443.
Oh. No, the doggy. Oh my God. I hope these people can help me. Okay. Hey, oh my God. Wish I.
What's new at ZDTV.com? It's our all-new Super Guides, 10 essential guides to everything on the web that's useful, practical, even musical. Like the Super Guide to Linux, giving you the coolest tips and tricks for this maverick operating system. Or the Super Guide to Digital Photography, with the best buys and how-tos for developing your photos online. Then the MP3 Super Guide rocks the net with the latest downloads and greatest gadgets for digital audio. Check out all our Super Guides at ZDTV.com now.
TheScreenSavers.com, brought to you by the letter Q and the number 7. In case you didn't know, your PC is more than just a processor and a hard drive. There's tons of tiny little parts in there rattling around just doing their thing. Take this week's Super Geek Challenge about PC parts and you just might learn something. Not to mention you can register to win a free Screensavers t-shirt or cap. Where you ask? On TheScreenSavers.com. We'd like to congratulate Brian from Orlando, Florida, the winner of yesterday's Super Geek Quiz t-shirt or cap giveaway. And can we get a shot of Tux? I think there's a little slaloming going on. Uh-oh. Ah! Can someone call a medic, please? And while we're waiting for the medic, here's Jim Louderback with the latest FireWire devices for the Mac, once again from Macworld on today's Fresh Gear.
Like the Mac fans at this year's Macworld, a hot new standard was also running rampant on the show floor. FireWire was firing up the show with various vendors showing off their products. Everything from CDRWs to scanners to hard drives are becoming available with a FireWire interface. Recently, we reviewed one of LaCie's FireWire products, the Pocket Drive portable hard drive. At Macworld, LaCie debuted their new FireWire DVD RAM drive that reads and writes more than 4 gigabytes of data on durable, removable DVD media. The LaCie external FireWire DVD RAM drive is available now for $780.
Now, like LaCie, VST is also coming out with pocket-sized, high-capacity hard drives. This one's 25 gigs, but they also go up to 30 gigs, and they go all the way down to about 5. It connects via both USB and FireWire, so you have a lot of options. And the nice thing about it is, it's very portable.
FireWire drives allow you to hot swap easily from one machine to another. Just plug in the drive to any FireWire-enabled computer, PC or Mac, and as long as your system can recognize the file structure, you're ready to access data. The VST FireWire drives are available now and range from $330 to $600. For high-capacity solutions, Micronet comes up with a new buzzword, the Storage Area Network. Their new SandCube lets up to 4 Macs share 450 gigabytes of storage. Transfer speeds can be as fast as 33 megabytes per second, and you can even hook a FireWire digital video camera right up to the SandCube. The 450 gig version will be out by August for $6,000. Not only are storage devices taking advantage of the blazing speeds of FireWire, but scanners are doing the same. Although most FireWire scanners cost $1,000 or more, UMax has brought FireWire to the average consumer. The Astra 6400 and 6450 are priced at $250 to $300. Both are available now and come bundled with Adobe's Photoshop LE. The FireWire standard was first introduced as a way to transfer large amounts of data, like video, to the desktop. But now it's burning up the peripheral market, and it's poised to leave SCSI in the dust.
Yes, you can catch a new Fresh Gear every weekend afternoon at 12:30 Eastern right here on ZDTV. Right now, we got an email in from Brian in Sewanee, Georgia. He wants to know just how he can go about hosting his own radio show on the net. The how-tos of web radio with Martin Sargent when the Screensavers continues.
And now a message from the manager of the ZDTV Netcam network.
Here at ZDTV, we receive tons of emails, and every week we pick one you just gotta see. We call it the Net Camera of the Week.
Making videos started as a hobby for James. He enjoyed it so much, now he does it for a living. He made his ZDTV debut on You Made It with this female.
You can be our next Net Camera of the Week. Just go to zdtv.com/netcam and send us your email today.
The S&P 500, your portfolio. In the next 12 months, which will come out on top? With the right advice and research, there's no telling how well you can perform. Call Solomon Smith Barney at 1-800-EARNS-IT, extension 431, and see how we can help you stay ahead of the market. Get your free special report, 10+ stocks for $2,000. You'll learn which 15 stocks we believe will outperform the S&P 500 over the next 12 months. Which of these stocks have the most earnings potential, the highest yields, and which reflect developing trends. Our 10+ stock list comes with the perspective of Solomon Smith Barney's award-winning analysts. 10+ has beaten the S&P 500 5 of the last 6 years. It's information you have to have. See how our experts plan to beat the S&P 500. Call 1-800-EARNS-IT, extension 431 for your special report today. See how we earn it. Solomon Smith Barney.
So we got this email from Brian in Sewanee, Georgia. He asks about putting his own radio show on the internet. And when you say that, I mean, there's a lot of different things it could be, of course. But what we decided is we'd set up a radio station using our own rap master himself, the king of swing, the sultan of soul, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Marty Sargent.
That's great, Leo. You're very good. You're very good. So I've always wanted to be a DJ, though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not cool enough. I can't go to a club and do this, but I can do it over the internet. No one needs to see my face and my clothes and all that.
So if you drew an imaginary line between this part and this part, this is what any DJ setup, whether at a wedding or at a radio station, would involve.
Sure. This is the proverbial 2 turntables and a microphone.
And you got a mixer, right?
Yes,
What's the mixer do?
The mixer is receiving information from the 2 turntables and feeding that into our sound card. Why don't you actually plug
basically,
that
you got to have this has to all be boiled down into one line.
Yeah, we got it into a 1/4-inch jack. You can also do it in your more common 1/8-inch jack.
In the back?
But we have
a front panel
we have the live drive. We have to put it into the use the 1/4-inch
I can't push it too hard because the live drive will actually go shooting into the inside of the ultimate gaming machine, and we'll never get it back. So we've got this is about like the first radio station I worked at.
This is pretty ghetto.
I'll tell you. All right, so we got that, and we got that, and you're going to do the microphone now. Let's do now. Okay, so this is the analog aspect of it.
Absolutely analog.
Sound card gets it. Now we're going to do now instead of a radio station transmitter, we're going to use the internet.
That's right.
What do we need to do that?
This is so cool. It's this thing called Shoutcast. You can get all the directions and all the software you need at shoutcast.com. What this lets you do is really stream music to anyone in the world who tunes into your internet radio broadcast at shoutcast.com.
Now, the beauty of it is it uses something you already got probably, which is Winamp.
Winamp, yeah, you need Winamp to do this.
So what do we do with Winamp? How do we get turn Winamp into Shoutcast?
Well, it's going into the live drive, and then it's going into Winamp and being fed into the Shoutcast server.
So that's a Winamp plugin?
That's a Winamp plugin, yeah. It's embedded right in there, right into Winamp.
Okay, so if I go to the Winamp preferences and go here, I'll see this in the DSP effect.
And then you press configure.
Okay.
And then you set it up like you want to. We have line in here. We could also do microphone. We have line in because we are all going into that one line.
You'll also have to adjust the mixer, of course, on your sound card and everything, which is going to be different no matter what you're doing. So this is going to take from line in You could also set it all up to play MP3s,
This is the way that most people do it. They don't mess with this.
Right.
What they have is a whole bunch of MP3s on their hard drive, and they just let those go one right after the other. That's the typical Shoutcast radio broadcast. Much easier to do it that way, although this isn't that difficult.
We know James Kim has done this, though, right?
James Kim, who is you know James Kim, one of the audiophiles here at ZDTV. He has actually had performances, raves or whatever, where it's not only performing to all the people at the club, but it's also being broadcast over the internet so anyone in the world can tune in, even though they can't be at the club.
If you go to shoutcast.com, you'll see a huge list of people who are broadcasting on
Thousands.
Shoutcast. Now, here's my question. How many people can listen to your radio show?
Well, it all depends on your bandwidth. The better your bandwidth, the more people that can tune into your radio broadcast. If you've got a 56K modem, God forbid you have a 33.6, probably ought not to even try
One
doing
person
it,
can listen, maybe.
Only 1 or 2 people, depending on the bit rate that you're broadcasting at. The
You
lowest
can
you would
set
ever
that.
want to do, you can set that. It's all customizable. It's about 24 kbps. That's what's called radio quality. But if you want to do CD quality, you're going to have to go much higher than that. And then, as you say, you're only going to be able to have a couple people listening at once.
So I have a cable modem. Unfortunately, as with most cable modems and DSL too these days, they cap the top speed that I can upload to 128,000 bits per second. That might be 3 or 4 people.
That's not very much
Hardly
at all.
worth
If you had DSL, you could do more than that, of course. Or if you had a
Well, they
T1.
cap DSL often. You'd have to. Sometimes you have to pay for this symmetric.
But you get what, about 384?
All right, you got
Okay.
384. Show off. All right. So, but that's still only 10 people.
That's right. So what you would have to do, 10 people, that's not hardly worth it. That's just your circle of friends, which is cool some of the time. If you really want a wide audience, what you can do is piggyback your Shoutcast service. So I'm running mine, and then you could tune into mine and also stream it off of your Shoutcast server, and then we could do this sort of exponentially.
So you get your friends to relay it. So I have, let's say I have 2 people listening there, or 2 broadcast streams, me and somebody else.
Right.
So let's okay, we got 2 right now. Split it. Now I have those 2 people send it to 2 more people, and they split out. And then they split out. And again and again and again, and pretty soon if we can get, and this is a social engineering,
this is the most difficult part of the whole thing.
if we can get enough people to reflect what we're doing, we could be like a radio, we could have hundreds of thousands listening.
Yeah.
Very
Pretty cool.
But that requires getting your friends and family to listen and rebroadcast.
Exactly.
All right, DJ Marty Sargent, gonna get down and get funkadelic with you. He's got the tude. He's got the.
Let me say a couple more things.
I was
You want the
riffing,
mic?
man.
Here.
No,
watch
that's
your
okay.
freestyle, man. Watch your freestyle.
Say a couple more things.
Yeah, a couple more things. A great way of doing this also is get something called the Radio Spy plugin. This is the means by which people can really easily find your tunes on the internet.
It's all in Marty's article. Go to thescreensavers.com. You'll find out all about it. Patrick, it's time to get down and get funky with the jamming session of the Jammin' Tunes. Go ahead. It's all yours, baby.
Ooh, thanks, Leo. I'm feeling
Get
very
down.
funky.
Get down.
Very funky tonight. Zuhab joins us. What are you doing?
Get down.
Oh, boy.
It's my main man.
Ladies and gentlemen, be afraid. Be very afraid. Zuhab, you got a question for us from here in San Francisco?
Yep.
Am I pronouncing your name even close to correct?
Yeah, you got it real close.
Excellent. So what can we do for you?
My question is, what motherboard do you guys recommend? what motherboard do you guys recommend for a slot 1 processor?
Okay, which slot 1 processor?
Yeah, P3.
Which one?
For a P3.
For a P3?
500.
I'll tell you what, I'm really a big fan of the 8-bits and I want to say the SE6, which of course is the wrong letters. But if you want to check out an amazing roundup of motherboards, Anand actually went through this summer. Anand from AnandTech.com went through and did a BX motherboard roundup and actually benchmarked all of those motherboards and looked at the performance and has a pretty good call on those. I would go with any of the 8-bits with the soft BIOS. Asus is always good too. Wow.
Well, the biggest problem I have is at the 8-bit, the SE6, it's a socket at their site anyway. They're showing it as a socket flip chip.
Well, it's actually, just so happens, they actually should have a slot-based motherboard, not the SE6, but I want to say it's either, let me see, I want to say they have the VT6, and hold on one second, let me see if I can pull this up, and I'll get you the exact name of it. Do you ever notice a website always dies when you're on television?
It seems to be. Because the biggest problem I have is I found a couple slot ones, but they're all based upon the either the old Intel.
Are you looking for like something past the BX? Most of the slot ones are going to be either the BX or one of the competitive chipsets.
Is Intel
Now-
like getting rid of the slot chips now, or what?
Excuse me?
Is Intel going to be like producing slot ones for the Willamette chip, or what are they going to be doing with the
They're
Willamette?
actually, I think it's actually going to be one of the flip chips, and it's going to be down on the motherboard. We haven't seen one yet. That's actually going to be a completely different motherboard, completely different chipset running at 400 megahertz. So you're not going to get a motherboard for your slot 1 that's going to convert. Check one of the slot 1s. Try to get one that can ramp up either from Asus or A-bit, going up to 133 or 150 megahertz on the motherboard. So you should be able to find that, and for about 110 bucks. And we'll put an exact name of one of those in the show notes for you, okay? Good question. Now, so you guys want to be on TV? Then we need you guys to send us some V-mail. Leo? He's out of there. It's easy. Turn on your camera, record a V-mail, and send it to us at tssvmail@zdtv.com. Leo, what's coming up next?
I'm sorry, Patrick, I was scratching with my homie. Coming up next, you'll hear what we have to say when you get your emails and faxes read today on the Screensavers on ZDTV. Rockin' and rollin'. I ran out of rhymes.
This is Rob Yunt from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're watching ZDTV. Amaze yourself. I don't know how we live without it.
Big thoughts, big theories, big thinkers.
When cryptography is outlawed, only the outlaws will have encryption.
We've barely scratched the surface here of what we're capable of employing technology to do.
Big thinkers. We take you inside the minds of the leaders of the information age, and you ask the questions. Find out how at zdtv.com/bigthinkers. Wednesday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on ZDTV. Big Thinkers, brought to you by Dell. The Money Machine has a new investment challenge. Take $500,000 and trade stocks, funds, or options. Register now. Go to zdtv.com, click on the Money Machine.
Leo, he's the guy. Watch his show and don't be shy. He'll help you with your personal confuser, even if you're a first-time user. He'll talk about gigs, RAM, bytes, and hubs. He's a guy you'll come to love. Don't break it, don't smash it, don't throw it at the wall. Pick up the phone and give Leo a call. He'll walk you through it step by step from the comfort of your home. Watch Call for Help.
People all around the world are using computers and the internet.
I think the internet is absolutely fascinating, and if I had one wish, it was that I would be 2 years old now instead of my current age, because I could grow up in a generation of internet users.
I'm computer literate and I've been doing it a while. I'm a Mac person, but I can work on both, and it's like my life now, apart from music. I'm jonesing for my computer already. It's only been like a matter of hours.
This just in, the World Wide Web just keeps growing.
Internet Tonight, breaking the web down into tasty bite-sized morsels.
We encourage you to exercise your geekiness and send us your own homepage.
Internet Tonight, your daily diet of the interesting, insane, and incredibly useful of the web. Coming up next, only on ZDTV.
Welcome back to the Screensavers. Here are the preliminary results of today's web poll. Should the government mandate filtering software? 70% of you say no. 10% of you say yes. 20% of you, and I love this 20% of you, say only for Hanson songs. Folks, you still have 24 hours to vote, and that's not all. If we don't pass out, we're going to have a ton of ways for you to let your voice be heard, all at thescreensavers.com.
Are you planning to pass out?
Well, it was just, you know, those moments where you keep reading and then you forget to breathe. And...
Look, listen to this. This is the worst tale of woe I have ever heard.
A tale of woe?
A tale of woe for
Up
Frank.
next on
He says, guys, help. My PC takes, he's a little slow on boot up, 18 minutes. 18 minutes to go from the page displaying.
Folks, it's not a typo.
It's not done yet. Displaying the Windows 95 logo on my desktop to actually the desktop. And actually, the truth is I have Windows 98 loaded. Navigation between applications is okay, but Explorer loads real slow.
Houston, we have a problem.
I'm guessing he probably did what we call a dirty install. He installed 98 on top of
a dirty, naughty
95.
install.
What really is bad, and it does happen a lot, is you upgrade once or even twice.
Right.
Let's say you started with Windows 95 on that
Right.
machine, then you put 98 on it, maybe OSR2, then 98, then 98 SE.
And you got a ton of stuff lingering around there.
I bet you that's what's wrong.
Yeah.
What could be the 18 minutes is as simple as having a corrupted startup logo.sys.
And
That's
it'll
the
keep going
image.
around going, where is it?
Keeps trying.
Where is it? Has anybody seen it? Has anybody seen it anywhere on the drive? I'm just going to check the entire drive.
Best thing to do, I think, Frank, I hate to say it, is actually start from scratch. Reformat that hard drive, get that Windows 98 SE disk, and install it. Maybe when Windows Millennium Edition comes out, that would be a good time. Buy the upgrade.
Yeah, we had another similar problem with installation. Tried to install it from the caps, didn't work. Tried to install it from the disk. Folks, it's a good time to actually start up flat and start up from the beginning. That's it for this edition of the Screensavers. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Leo Laporte. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Are hackers all bad?